Welcome to First Wing, a Fourth Wing podcast.
I'm Brianna, and this is the start of my Fourth Wing journey.
And I'm Kendra, an experienced dragon rider here to help this first year. Just a quick note, this book contains explicit content, including swearing, sex, violence, and death, and so will this podcast.
We have reached 350 downloads / listens on our podcast, which is pretty great, considering we only have 6 episodes out right now per recording date.
As of recording date, yep.
So that's pretty great, and I'm just glad that people are out there listening, and we're just excited to keep on going.
Yes, so awesome. Thank you for following us along. So today we are discussing chapters 17 and 18. And the last chapter ended with her kissing Dane, Dane kissing her,
Yep.
obviously. And she was like, uh-oh, this is not where I thought it would be.
Nope. Yeah, and last episode we also only covered 1 chapter.
Oh, that's
Even
right.
though we said we would cover 2 at the beginning.
Yeah, and it would have been great if we could have covered another one, because the way this episode is going to end, it's horrible. It's just the wrong time to end. So we'll... Whatever. Brianna's had to wait all this time. She can handle it.
Yeah. It's been a tough couple days.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. So we're starting with chapter 17.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we have our little blurb in the top where it says, "It is therefore only natural that the more powerful the dragon, the more powerful the signet its rider manifests. One should beware of a strong rider who bonds a smaller dragon, but even warier of the unbonded cadet who will stop at nothing to seize a chance to bond." And that is Major Effendra's Guide to the Rider's Quadrant, which I don't know if we've had earlier ones from that one, but it definitely is a regular one.
I think so, because I remember seeing the unauthorized edition part.
Oh, yeah.
So either that or there's lots of unauthorized editions of books that she's reading.
Maybe.
We'll see. I was wondering, this blurb made me think, are we going to find out her signet in this chapter? We don't. This is more kind of about the one should beware of the strong rider, whatever. It's talking about Jack and the unbonded cadets. But yeah, we do, by the end of this episode, we'll kind of find out one of her powers, so...
This is kind of a mild chapter, the beginning of this chapter. I mean, they're just waking up and coming up. They just bonded dragons, right? So they're coming out of the rooms, and, she went to sleep by herself, but she seems to have been the only one, because she comes out and Sawyer comes out of Rhiannon's room. And then she has sees other couples coming out of different rooms and just kind of comments on these things. And then Rhiannon asks her why she doesn't have breakfast duty anymore. And I guess apparently that's a less desirable duty. So that goes to people like Oren that we find out later, the unbonded, basically.
Yeah, and this did kind of feel like it kind of answered a question that we talked about. I think it was in episode 7, which was what do the unbonded first years do during all of the flying lessons or specific lessons that are or the signet lessons that we know that Sawyer goes to. Mm-hmm. It's what are all these first years doing who aren't bonded during this time? Well, maybe this is a lot of what they're doing. Maybe they kind of end up just doing all of the extra chores. And if there's only if before we had 200 people handling these chores and now it's 41 of them mostly, then maybe it just takes up a lot more of their day.
Maybe. That's interesting.
Anyways, so that was just a thought that I had.
Yeah, for sure. And she also kind of mentions, because she's not in the kitchen, that she's not gonna be able to go the poison route as easily,
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention, but when we see Rhiannon come out of the room, they're neighbors. They're right next to each other,
yeah.
Across the hall from each other. And I thought that I was oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, so then it's girl talk, she's so Sawyer, huh, Rhi? And Rhiannon's yeah, well, I felt like celebrating, and, and then she's what about you and Dane, basically?
Yeah.
And she's well, and it's awkward, and she's it's just didn't quite hit the spark, basically.
I know, and I was still at this point, I was did you tell him that? Have you told him that yet? No, she hasn't.
She hasn't. Yeah, so she gets to have a little girl talk. Again, we get this mention of this other cadet named Liam Mari, who walks out again with another person. Just everybody's coming out of their rooms with somebody's.
Yeah.
Other people.
She seems like the only person
that came out alone.
Yeah.
Riddick comes out and is all, cute and like, hello, ladies, puts his arm around both of them, says, should I call you writers? And they're all like, yay, you know.
And the fact that he can put his arms around both of them. I mean, I guess if him and Rhiannon are supposed to be like the same size, I guess it wouldn't be that hard. But...
Yeah, no. I know. I thought the same thing. Like, okay, good. He's not super short.
Yeah.
I think I'm back to the fact that he's not small, like he was sort of described in the beginning. He is a larger, like more bulky person.
Twice the size of another person.
Twice the size of another person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we'll have to see if any more descriptions come. I feel like those are the only 2 descriptions. I was hoping I'd get more because, like I told you in the beginning, we were going to track this because I was so confused.
Yeah.
I'm still confused.
Yeah.
Okay. So Riddick is then asking, where's your relic? And then they kind of show each other a relic. Well, no, you actually don't get to see Rhiannon's because she's like, somewhere you're not going to look. And I was like, okay, where
is it on her butt?
Is it on her butt?
I guess.
What kind of dragon does she have? Like, what I want.
Or like on her boob.
I want to put a relic right on my writer's boob.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just such a funny answer.
Like
it could be
upper
close.
thigh.
Yeah, I know.
But it is funny. It does make like it is just a funny answer.
It is funny because Violet gets it all over her back, like big, strong, and then Riddick gets this on his bicep.
Yeah,
which is so much smaller.
Definitely.
So I don't know how
if that means anything.
Yeah, does it mean anything?
We don't know. But this line did, like pique my interest because it's Riddick. He says, that will keep you safer if you're ever separated from that massive dragon of yours. And I was like, what do you mean safer? Like, are you saying that someone can get to you through your relic? Like, that keeping your relic safe is important? That someone could, like sever the bond if they cut the relic off your body? Like, what does safer mean?
Gruesome.
Well, yes,
I don't know.
But
I just assumed it was like, he says, can't see it. It's on my back. That like, it's almost like wearing a uniform in enemy territory, like you're not supposed to. So no one knows where you're from. So it's more like
she could blend in.
Yeah. They might not know she's a writer if they can't see her relic. I don't know. That's how I read it.
I mean, that does also make sense. But I did start like going down this whole path of like, like, are you vulnerable where your relic? Is that like your Achilles heel? Like, if you get stabbed in the relic, does it like kill your dragon? Like, I was like, I have so many questions. And
I mean, maybe
just move
still
right on.
something, whatever, but that's what I read on that,
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. They get to breakfast. Oren's behind the counter, so she opts to basically not get food, like to only get fresh fruit because she's like, okay, well, that can't be tampered with, which I'm sure you could syringe something into fresh fruit. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's important that she only got that much food for later on part, right?
Yes.
But this whole part is really interesting. So they show up and they're going to go ask if they can sit at this table. And then the tail section guys, they're like, sure, yes. And they're like, they leave. And one of them even says, sorry, Sorengale, right?
No. And I was like, sorry for what? Like, sorry for something that happened in the past? Sorry for not wanting to sit with her? Like, sorry for what? But I guess it was like, sorry that we're in your way. Sorry that we're at the table you want to be at.
Yeah, right.
They
exactly.
Still don't really explain what he was apologizing for.
No, they're just all scared of her, and for some reason, saying sorry means something.
I guess like when you say like "excuse me" and then someone goes like "sorry," yeah, it was like that kind of
like,
sorry.
Sorry, you can have this table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, sorry for what? Like I couldn't understand what the context was because she doesn't either for a little bit.
No, they're all confused, right? They're
Yeah.
like, she's like, what the hell? And then Rhiannon's like, that was fucking weird, So they sit down at this table, and then
and she puts her back to the wall.
Yeah.
And I was like, smart. That's
girl.
a smart move. Yeah.
You also learn that in cowboy classes too.
Really? Always sit with your back to a wall? I've never taken a cowboy class, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so like if, someone comes in with their little sharpshooter.
You can see
I don't
them.
know. Am I
Well, they can't shoot you in the back that way. You'd have time to draw.
I mean, then no one would ever be sitting across from you, so I'm not really sure.
Well, the dumb people sit across.
Oh, good. You invite the dumb people over, they sit. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I read some Westerns. Okay, so then Riddick's like even weirder, and they look and see that Jack Barlow is being squeezed out of his table, and then he like tries to go to another table, and they don't let him, and then he has to go into the next table. It's like this whole thing, right?
And I was like, well, this makes me happy because he sucks so much. I'm also worried that he's now gonna just want to kill her even more so.
Which is funny that you said that because she said the same thing.
Yes. Yep.
She basically said, somewhere, was it later?
Something about how corner dogs or like they bite harder.
Oh, here it is. There's no satisfaction in watching Jack struggle. Feral dogs bite harder when they're cornered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just gonna fuel his rage, right?
Yeah, but it's still satisfying because he was such an arrogant asshole. I'm gonna bond that dragon. I'm gonna shut up. And then also him like going after this dragon, trying to kill this dragon, and being like, "Oh, the dragons that are meant for us, they'll wait for us. Maybe you did have a better dragon waiting for you."
And they changed his mind.
They changed their mind, or they bonded someone else who got there first, and now you were this little orange one. Also, poor orange dragon that Jack cannot be being nice to. I feel bad for his dragon, honestly.
Yeah.
That dragon better be, like, super mean to be able to withstand this. Better bully him in his own head.
I don't know. Okay. So, yeah, then some girl says, "Hey, Soren girl," and she's like, "Oh, that's kind of awkward because she hasn't spoken to me since I beat her, basically, in that challenge, right?"
Yep.
And this is when Imogen sits down and explains that it's because you're bonded to Tarn. Anyone with common sense is going to be scared of you, basically.
I know. I was like, so you don't have common sense? But no, we learn. It's fine.
Imogen is not going to be scared of Violet.
No, but I thought that line was funny. Like, anyone with common sense, I'm like, are you counting yourself outside of that?
She is. She's like, I don't have common sense. When Quinn sits down, she's talking about patches here, you know. She mentions this patch with, like, a dark green one that's two silhouettes, right? And she's like, I don't know. You know, I don't really know what that means. And then she talks about her patches, right?
Yeah.
And that her favorite one is the one that shows that they're the Iron Squad.
Yes, which means that they are the squad with the most amount of riders alive by the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love that for them.
So they have 8 members right now.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah, it's the Iron Squad. The whole squad gets the patch. It's because even second years and third years are dying.
That's true.
So it's just at that point, yeah.
But it's so weird because that's not like the end of the year. It's just like...
I guess that's just where you... I mean, yeah, but if you get the Iron Squad at the end of the year, your year's already ended.
You would wear, I guess, for the next year. Yeah, I see your point. So I guess, whatever. They just count whoever's made it through the threshing, and then at that point, that's when they count it.
That's what it sounds like. It's the most surviving members since Parapet. At this point, I guess. I guess once you got your dragons, because before that, you're not a rider or whatever. I don't know.
I guess it's the squad with the most riders.
Yes, there you go. Okay.
So, I guess that makes
sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Imogen continues the conversation here where she's saying you weren't interesting enough to sit with before. And then Quinn mentions, like, I usually sit with my girlfriend, but also, like, it's no use getting to know you when most of you die. And she's like, no offense.
It does make sense.
It does, for sure.
Like,
it's logical.
It sounds, like, cold-hearted, but it's like, a bunch of them are going to die. Like, why break your own heart by befriending them every time just to watch them all die?
Yeah. And the second years have just been through a first year where they watched a whole bunch of people die who they were close with because the first years all
are
tend
close
to be
each
close.
Other. Yeah.
So now they're just like, you know what?
I'll talk to you after threshing.
Yeah.
It's
Let me see if you're alive. Yeah. Then Heaton and Emery show up and they're even more surprised. And that is everyone. And now they have the whole squad sitting together.
So I really didn't realize that Imogen was in their squad until now.
Oh,
I don't know. I genuinely don't know how I missed that. But I remember a discussion that we had when the first time she fought Imogen. Because you were saying, oh, it's just the squads fighting each other. And then I was like, but she fought a second year. I genuinely didn't know Imogen was in her squad. And when it said, like, oh, the whole squad's together, I was like, oh, plus other people, I guess. Yeah, anyways, I don't know how I missed them.
Probably we're just thinking first years.
Yeah.
Mostly in this squad. Yeah, and each squad already had second and third years, and then new first years were put into each squad because they were already a squad last year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only difference is that they did switch wings, but they were still the same squad.
Yeah, and Dane became their squad leader.
Yes, because he was first year. Because he was just a member of it. Yeah, exactly. So this is their squad now, all sitting here except for Dane and Sienna.
And they're about to have some new people join their squad, but that hasn't happened yet.
They did mention that, yeah, that there's going to be new people.
Yeah, because now that a bunch of people have died, they're shifting, like, everyone, every single wing, every single section is now going to switch to 2 squads per section instead of 3 squads per section. Yeah.
So they're disbanding
them. One of the squads. Yeah, which means one squad leader's losing his title, which must suck.
Oh yeah, totally. But unless another squad leader died or an executive officer died, then they could maybe skip into, be in that. But
yeah, but it does, like, when I heard that, which I don't know if we're there yet, but whatever.
I feel like it's coming up anytime now.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, okay, I do kind of understand now why it's Dane's squad. Like, I could see for the plot why they had so many people survive in their squad. Not just for, like, oh, good for Violet or whatever. But also, now Dane still gets to be a squad leader because they're not going to disband his squad when he, like, won the Iron.
Yeah, and it would be confusing if they had to, like, move to another squad and all that. So this keeps them together, yeah.
Because otherwise, I wonder if Xaden would have tried to take away that title from Dane. He doesn't seem to like Dane very much.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I wonder if that wasn't the case, maybe Xaden would have tried to taken that away from him.
Like, he would choose then, if any squad leader is going to lose it, he would have then said, okay, well, Dane can lose his and we'll absorb his. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
but he couldn't do that because, well, he, like, literally gets the best honor a squad could get.
Exactly.
In all of the sections.
So she blurts out here, okay, because they're mentioning Owen, right?
Yes.
And she blurts out he tried to kill Andarna.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, shoot, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
I'm like, you should have said that. I'm glad you said that. If she was like, I'm going to keep this a secret, I would have been so mad at her.
Yeah. I don't know why she would even be worried about that, honestly, but I don't know.
Maybe she's just worried about putting a bigger target on her back.
Maybe.
Or maybe she was just thinking, like, she should have used that at, like, the right time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like, please don't keep that a secret. People need to know that because that was so messed up.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. But then, like, you know, she's thinking Taryn told the other dragons that this happened, and maybe that's why Owen didn't get bonded, but then Jack did, so who knows, you know, what that is.
Owen, like, he did get killed by another dragon, but he was knocked out.
He was.
Maybe he didn't wake up on time.
Yeah. Or maybe none of the other dragons were dumb enough to bond with someone who literally tried to kill a dragon.
Yeah, but again, so did... Unless Jack was able to bond before Taryn came and could warn everyone.
Yeah, maybe he was off limping away and he saw this dragon and they... I don't know.
What? Well, he wouldn't have been limping because it was his shoulder.
Oops. That's right. It was her. Yeah. Limping. Fine.
Yeah.
Running off with a bloody shoulder.
Okay. And the dagger still... Well, I don't know when he took it out or whatever, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, crazy. It sucks that he bonded. Honestly, I wish he didn't.
Well, they do mention the orange scorpion tail is on the smaller side, so it's very possible that this was just the orange scorpion tail was just like, I want to bond with someone. Here's a guy. Let's go.
Yeah, but this is, I'm like, okay, so size equals strength with the dragons. Like, that's it, just point blank.
Yes, that is what it sounds like.
Yeah, just doesn't, and nothing else matters. Not their breed.
I mean, that's literally what they're talking about. They just keep bringing up the smaller dragon, less powerful. Which is, you know.
I guess, I don't know. I mean, yeah.
That's all that we're being given here, so
I know.
We'll just have to see.
It is very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, so then Rhiannon here then mentions she just has fruit, and she can't survive on that because, you know, things are going to be going on. She needs to have her energy.
Definitely.
And Imogen literally scrapes sausages onto her plate, right? And this is, like, weird to Violet. She's like, why are... You know, we know that Violet and Imogen... did not like each other.
No, and I was like, oh, are they gonna end up being friends? I don't know if I can stand that. I really liked hating her. But it doesn't really, I don't know. I mean, so far it doesn't really seem like friends would be the word I'd use for what's gonna happen. But yeah, I did say, like, if she likes Xaden, I'm sure she's just doing this to keep him alive. Which maybe, I mean, she's definitely doing it because of Xaden. Does she know exactly the whole information? I don't know. Like, are they keeping that a secret? But Dane knew it without... Like, is it public information that these two dragons are bonded? I don't know.
I do believe that the fact that the dragons are bonded is public information, yeah.
But what, not everyone... Well, I guess
But not everyone's going to know unless, I guess, everybody starts talking about it. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, Dane knew that they were bonded. However, he also thought that Xaden was trying to kill Violet by them being bonded and didn't realize that their lives are, like, so connected. So maybe that, like, no one else would realize that if Violet dies, Dane dies.
Not Dane, Xaden, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry. If Violet dies,
I don't know.
Xaden dies.
I don't know. What I do know, though, is that she was worried about eating the sausage, and Taryn says you can trust her.
Yeah.
So Taryn knows something, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And then her reply is, she hates me. And he says, stop arguing with me and eat something. Zero room for debate in his tone. I just love that. I love their conversations. So she eats she eats it. while she's looking at Imogen, and she doesn't die.
Yeah, I do wonder, like, how much are Sigale and Taryn and Xaden just, like, scheming behind her back? Because he seems to know
He knows something, huh?
something.
Okay, good. So we find out that Emery's signet is air manipulator, maybe? And then Imogen is like, okay, good. After class, you're mine. And Violet's like, what the hell? And she's like, I'm going to, I want you to meet me in the sparring gym. And, basically she says, I'm going to help you with weights. She's like, I'm going to help you strengthen up that body of yours.
Yeah, which is a good idea. I kind of can't believe she hasn't been doing that this whole time. I mean, maybe she's a little bit too busy, like, gathering poison and poisoning people.
And she has been sparring with Rhiannon. She's already been working with her, but not specifically strength.
Yeah, but it's like, you can know how to fight and still not be able to do it.
Right. Or in this case, we're trying to keep her on her dragon, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
Which you can see later is a problem. So this is where Violet realizes something's going on. She like literally realizes this isn't a squad thing. Like, why is Imogen caring about her survival, right?
Yep.
Did you have something you want to say here?
This was me just being like, oh, she is in her squad. This was me like for sure realizing it.
And, she's figuring that Imogen's not doing this from the goodness of her heart, that it's some kind of order.
Yep.
So, this is where we hear that the squads are going to be condensed and all this kind of stuff. But Violet discreetly looks over to where Xaden is, and two things happen here. One, Garrick looks at her in such a way that shows he's worried.
Yeah.
And she realizes, okay, he knows that my fate is tethered to Xaden. And then Xaden looks between her and Imogen, and that's when she realizes, 100%. He is having Imogen do this, and they are concerned for Xaden's safety, basically, through Violet.
And this just did make me wonder, like, okay, so Garrick is worried, so he clearly knows, like, the full story, but does Imogen know the full story, or was Imogen just told, train her? I feel like she must know the whole story.
Yeah, I feel like she wouldn't have trained her without, like, Imogen would be the person who'd be like, you're going to have to give me a little better than this because I would rather kill her. Please explain. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of person she is. She's not just going to be like, sure, Xaden. She's going to be like, why?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she has to know something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he could just pull rank on her.
Yeah.
Before this scene ends, she thinks to herself, Xaden Ryerson is now in the business of keeping his mortal enemy alive. And I was like, that's a really strong word.
Mortal enemy.
You are a little bit dramatic.
Well, this is the same girl who had to remind him over and over and over again that he wants to kill her when he obviously didn't.
Yeah, she's also, like, flattering herself a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Saying that you're his mortal enemy, you think you mean that much to him? Like, that's crazy. This is, like, it reminds me of sometime in one Harry Potter book when Harry mentions that Draco is, like, his mortal enemy, and I'm like, did you just, like, forget about Voldemort? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? This reminds me of that. That's
funny. Okay, good. So now we are on the flight field. The squads have been rearranged, and the first years are there because they're obviously going to start, flight training, right?
Yep.
It talks about their uniforms. It's like no insignia. I kind of mentioned this actually with like the when you mentioned about the relic on her back and how you couldn't see it. This is like the same reason. Like there's no insignia or anything that way. If they do end up in enemy territory, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
they don't know anything about them.
Yeah, exactly. She thinks to herself that when Taryn is like kind of being threatening to other people, that she thinks, like, if I had those teeth bared at me, I'd back away too. And then he says to her, like, no, you wouldn't, because you didn't. You stayed and defended Indarna. And I was like, okay, this is, like, probably another reason why he bonded with her, is despite her being scared, she doesn't, like, show him fear, particularly.
She doesn't back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can, like, I mean, we've talked about this in earlier chapters, like, she can be scared and yet still hold her position.
Yeah.
No matter what. And that is, like, true bravery.
Yeah, I feel like that was a major part of his choosing to bond.
Yeah, she didn't just, like, run and screaming at the sight of him.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Right. She asks where Indarna is, or basically, like, is she coming? And he says she has no need for flight lessons when she can't bear you. So, I mean, that obviously...
I know, I'm like, so does this for sure confirm it? Like, I still want to see them try. I feel like I'm not going to believe it until I see it fail. That she can't hold him. That she can't hold her.
Okay, cool. And I love this. So this is the first time he tells her to pay attention, right?
Yeah.
And then Professor Kaori is like, projecting his voice out with the lesser magic and stuff. And I like how she's like starts thinking about how Riddick shouldn't ever learn how to do this because, whatever, he would just like say random stupid things out and
He'd project his voice just to annoy
annoy
people.
everybody. Yeah. And so then she manages to kind of tune in at the point where he says 92 writers. And so she thinks like to Taryn, like, wow, I thought 101 were willing to bond plus you. And he says, willing doesn't mean they found worthy writers. And then she's like, two of you chose me, like kind of like, why,
Yeah.
But of course, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and he just says that she is worthy. It's so cute.
Yeah. And then he says, but apparently you don't pay attention in class.
Which is rude because she does. She's very studious.
She's not paying
she's
attention
really
here.
Not paying attention here, which is, you would think someone who's like bad at flying would
be paying attention. Yeah. She knows history very well. She needs to pay attention to the flying stuff.
I know.
Yeah, so Carrie mentions the 41 unbonded writers that would kill you. No. Oh, sorry. They would probably kill you, but it says they would kill to be standing where you are, literally. And that the dragons might just let them drop and then bond with a new one because this is like the weakest point of the bond still. They're still in the weak part of their bond. So it's like if you're not going to be a good writer, they might just be screw that, let you go. Which we see later one of them does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so. And she says, like, comforting, and then Taryn makes a noise that reminds me of a scoff. I was like, okay, I totally interpreted that as him being like, are you serious? Like, I could have let you die, like, 14 times. You're gonna, like, be scared that I would, like, let this happen, which he very much does not let happen.
Yes, of course.
Under any circumstances.
Of course.
Like, I mean, which is, I think that even at this point of the bond, even though it's, like, the weakest point, I mean, I think
still probably stronger than most of these other dragons. Yeah,
I think he does like her for sure. I mean, clearly he likes her, so he does care for her life, but also he probably cares for his own life too. At this point, and his mate.
Yeah, it's possible at this point it wouldn't kill him, but very possible, right?
But it would probably hurt.
But still, like the fact that he does what he does later in this chapter, it goes to show you that he sees a value in her that no one that has nothing to do with her ability with her thighs to hold on to him. That is nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. Her being like worried about this and him being like, ugh. Like
whatever, yeah.
Yeah. He's really just like, haven't I proven to you that I have no interest in bonding with anyone else? Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So she sees everybody off, or no, I guess Carrie does it first, but the other guys do it too, where they just run up the dragon foreleg. Yeah, the vertical climb. It's a vertical climb, right?
Yeah.
Like they do not crouch down like Taryn does.
No, it's like
straight
that
up
ramp.
that leg.
It's like that ramp at the end of the parapet.
Gauntlet.
Yeah, what's the parapet? Oh, right. That's the thing they cross at the beginning.
That's where Dylan died.
I'm sorry. I don't know, man. A lot of names.
Yeah. And so she knows that she can't pull this off. I mean, she mentions her ankle's still healing.
Yep.
So... But this Taryn gives her the ramp again, just like last time, which, he did and she understood because at the time her ankle was really bad, but he's still doing it. And she feels bad about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like literally, like she doesn't want to be like the weak one, but he says to her, there are accommodations for him. I've seen your memories. We talked about this, how like he could like see her memories.
Yep.
I'm not about to have you sticking daggers into my leg to climb up.
I know.
Why not, Taryn? Why not?
Probably hard.
Yeah, I guess so.
Also, her dragon skill armor cannot be pierced by like anything. Could she really stick a dagger in him?
Exactly.
I genuinely think he's just saying what he knows will make her feel better.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I do kind of understand why, if you want to think of Amber as not a terrible rule follower, like, freak, she could be concerned of, like, okay, she cheated on this end of the gauntlet. How is she ever going to be a writer? She can't even do this, and you probably can't stick a dagger into your dragon.
Yeah, and I guess that's a good point. I never thought about that. Like, it was a technicality, right? And Amber does have a point where it's like, you do have to be able to get up this without a dagger.
Yeah. But apparently no, because she just picked the best dragon, so.
Yeah, but if she would have picked any other dragon,
yeah, I don't know how she would
I
have done
think
it.
they would have just, you suck, and found another one, so.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird that she wasn't worried about that at all. I mean, I guess she kind of was a little bit.
Just taking it day by day.
She really was. She was like, I could just die any second. I'm just not going to think that far into the future.
Yeah, totally. No, she didn't know what she's going to do, so she didn't know she was going to get dragons.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, good. So they take off, and of course he has to be second because, Taryn is the best. So he's like, of course he's a bit of an egotistical dragon.
I honestly don't take it that way.
Really?
I think he just knows the reality of the situation. And he does have the need to keep up his image.
Well, I guess that's more what it is. This is a position of power, and he lets everyone know it, you know? Which is very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't take it as, like, he's like, oh, it's because I'm the best. Like, that
but he is
just
the best.
knows. Like, there's a difference between egotistical and confident.
That's
You
true.
know what I mean? He's
Good
just
point.
like, I just know that I'm genuinely, like, the second biggest dragon in all of Navarre that we've seen.
Yeah.
Besides, like, his General Melgren's the biggest one. And I have to keep up with that,
Image.
Yeah. So.
That's true. Okay, good. So they take off. She mentions that she should spend some time at Temple to make multiple appeals to Dune because he's, like, obviously the one that wants to be just in front, which, when you're in front of any kind of charge, you're
the first one to get taken down, maybe.
Yeah, he mentions, is this the first time we've heard Dune? Because he mentions it's the goddess of strength and war. And I feel like it's because it's the first time we've heard it, and that's why he has to mention it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think this is the first time. And he says it in such a way that's, like, definitely scoffing at, like, the goddess of strength and war, like, whatever. And she's like, what, you don't think we need gods? And he says, dragons pay no heed to your puny gods.
Yeah, and I have a thought at the beginning of this book about, like, are we gonna find out that the gods are, like, definitely real? Are we ever gonna have, like, any type of interaction that proves that they're there? And I couldn't tell if this line, like, the way he phrased this line, I was like, does this prove that they are real because he's, like, acknowledging them, or does this do the opposite because he's like, yeah, whatever, these, like, whatever stupid things you guys believe in? I couldn't tell, and so it just makes me more curious if we're ever gonna get a sign or if they're all just always gonna be a symbol.
I hear you. Okay, so we're gonna continue. Okay, so this is basically, this whole scene is like he's holding on to her with his magic, and she's basically saying, like, you can't do that because you're going to need your full signet, like your full use of your power in a situation. I need to learn how to do this, Oh, also, this is where he also mentions that this one Glean, I'm not sure, Glean, whatever, this one dragon lost the rider and just let it go, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of mentions that, which I think that's the
like
one
right now, like this is happening right now.
This just happened right now. So
during
that
the
person
flight
fell off the dragon, and I think that's the dragon that's later mentioned that Caroline Ashton bonded with. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so they're just having this conversation about how, like, she doesn't want to have him do that. And he's like, it's just a minuscule amount of my power.
I know. And I'm like, I'm both annoyed at her and admire her for this because I feel like he would know. You know what I mean? Like, if he's saying this is not going to be a problem, then just listen to him. Like, he would know it's his power. And you're just like, I feel like it's unnecessary to test yourself so early. It's not like I don't think she should ever be able to do it herself, but it's like, maybe just do anything to prepare for this before just being like, no, I just want to fall off 36 times.
I don't think she expected to fall off right away because she, like, literally, he's like, have it your way. The bonds let go. She's like, thank you, shit.
Yeah.
And she's off. And then he just, like, picks her up, throws her back on. I love this. There's a disgusted roar of something I don't understand in my head. And then she's like, what the hell does that mean? And he's like, the closest translation for humans is probably for fuck's sake.
Yes. And this was something I talked about last episode that I was like, wait, it's a roar, but it's in her head? Is this him? Like, this is him, right? Because it's in her head. But also, is he speaking his dragon language in her head?
I guess so. Yeah, has
so
to be,
this must prove that they do have their own language of, like, growls and snarls.
You've sold me.
And blah, blah, blah.
Yes, they have their own language. Okay, good.
So then they're not talking mind to mind then. Dragons are not talking to each other mind to mind.
I don't know. Like, I get that. And there's future things in the book that we would just have to follow and see.
Okay.
But it definitely sounds like there are communications.
Because it was it was not described as words. It was
Yeah.
described as a sound, but then he says that the translation.
Totally.
So it's just so interesting. How do they speak English in the minds of the writers then if they don't speak?
It might not be English. It might just be thoughts. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
I don't know. It sounds English to me.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
I don't know. I love how he calls her stubborn silver human. But anyway, so yeah, she falls again and again and again. So later that evening, she's making her way to the sparring gym and she's in a lot of pain and she's got bruises everywhere because she's being cut, by his claws. Well, like obviously not his claws so much, but whatever.
Yes,
and being
still hurts.
thrown onto his back over and over again.
Yep.
Because, he wasn't going to stop making crazy dips and turns and spins just because she didn't want to hold. He wasn't going to stop doing that.
No, but I'm just like, after the first 3 times, she should have been like, okay, you know what? Maybe just hold me. I'm gonna work out so hard. I promise I'm gonna be able to do this, but maybe this is getting me nowhere. How is she learning anything from this?
No, I don't. Well, they're definitely learning for him to catch her and throw her back on.
Oh, good.
Yes, that's
Great.
definitely happening.
So he's training. That's what I'm hearing.
I just can totally see Taryn is rolling his eyes this whole time.
Yeah.
He's just like, whatever, lady.
He must be so annoyed because he's he's still following the lead dragon. So he's like, wait, he's spinning and catching her at the same time?
I know.
Ridiculous.
He's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's just walking, I guess, to the sparring gym, and Dane catches up with her, right? And she's wondering to herself, why don't I have chemistry with this guy? He's a good looking guy, right?
Yep.
We know why she doesn't have chemistry with him.
Because he's a dick. in a weird way.
She's also oddly attracted to her enemy.
Well, yeah, that doesn't help.
Who's apparently trying to kill her all the time.
Apparently. Yeah, she does. She is forming a crush in her subconscious, so that doesn't help.
Yeah. She mentions to him that she's going to work out, and they just talk a little bit about flight maneuvers, and she's like, I can't, I need to strengthen my muscles to stay seated. Taryn insists on making everything harder than what Kaori is doing. So he's not even just following Kaori. He's literally doing more, which I said, right?
Wait 1 fucking second. Wait a second.
Okay.
She says right here, I definitely fell enough today.
Yeah.
So she tells Dane right here that she was falling off her dragon. In the next chapter, doesn't he yell at her for not telling him that she was falling off her dragon?
100%, and it never has ever made sense to me.
What?
Please, someone explain it. No, she says right here. I know. I just was gonna just ignore it because I've never figured this out. She says, I definitely fell enough today. And he says, I honestly thought you'd be all right once Taryn chose you. And she says she has to strengthen her muscles to stay seated.
That really sounds like she told him about it right away. Why, see, he just sucks that much. The second he feels like he's not needed, he just makes shit up to be mad at her about.
Maybe that's all that's happening. I don't know. It's confusing
God.
because you think she would have said something like, I did tell you, but she doesn't. So, but we'll get to that scene.
I read these 2 chapters, not back to back, because I prepared 16 and 17 for last episode, but then we only covered 1. So I didn't even realize until right this minute that they totally had this conversation already.
I know. I also wonder, it's either that Dane is that much of a dick or that somehow the author just didn't remember
maybe
in 1 chapter. I don't know.
We'll have to see how he phrases it, but I do think he says why didn't you tell me that you can't stay on the dragon? So maybe it was that she wasn't progressing. He thought that the next time I don't know
she would have it down after having just
I
fallen.
don't know. What is wrong with him? Okay. All right.
I don't know. She does. So then when she's talking to him, right, and Taryn butts in.
Yeah.
And she's distracted, and she mentions that Taryn's butting into her thoughts, and he's like, that's a good sign. It means your bond is strengthening. So that's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's, and he says here, I'm not sure why he's giving you a hard time with maneuvers. It's not like there's any aerial threat out there besides griffins.
Why do I, the way he phrases this line just makes me feel like that's not true. Not like he's lying.
Right.
But just there's certain lines where I'm just the way this is phrased, I just don't believe it. And this is one of them. I don't believe this is true.
Right.
There's something else out there.
Excellent. We need that little meme, the don't be suspicious meme. That might be way old now. I don't know. It was popular at one point.
Memes always come back around like fashion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then saying that his breath of fire would just take out the griffins anyways. I don't know why he's saying this to her, because Carrie is the professor who's teaching them.
Yeah, but he is making all the, like, each one harder. He says that.
True. Okay, so then Dane decides to bring up the incident. Capital the incident.
Yep.
And he's like, about the other day, about last night. And she says, the part where you told me Zayden would get me killed if I bonded Taryn, or the part where you kissed me? And he's talking about the kiss. And he's like, it shouldn't have happened. And she's like, right? Totally glad. Yay, he's with me on this. And he's not with her. He's like, I would love to basically have this be something, except for that I'm your squad leader. That's literally what he's saying.
Which isn't even against the rules. It's just, like, frowned upon. Dang.
I know.
If you really, like, I feel like he's just delusional. Like, if you really, really loved her, that would not matter to you. But he's like, his ambition, his image is more important than she is.
It's possible that no one he could love. He could really, really love someone, but no one he loves more than his image. I'm just saying.
Then
right?
That's not real love. Yeah, whatever.
But that might be the love that he can have. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, they're definitely on two different pages here. She's like, what were you saying? And he like says basically, oh, I'm saying the same thing as you are. It's frowned upon to have a physical relationship with anybody in your chain of command. And she says, oh, and then thinks, yeah, that's definitely not what I was saying.
Yeah, and I was like, if it's frowned upon for Dane, how frowned upon will it be when it's Zayden, her leader? Just saying.
Yeah, and he's talking about how hard he worked to be a squad leader. Blah, blah, blah. So
yeah. She's
just like, whatever, She's like, not even, at this point, she's just literally like, I've lost respect for this guy. What the hell,
I know, but like, you do need to tell him. Like, I hate that she's still not telling him.
Yeah, this is her childhood friend.
I know.
It's harder than it is with someone who she doesn't already have so much, affinity for already. And so much things they've done together and a whole history,
I get that, I do, but I am just like, you need to say it because he's not going to stop. Like, he needs, if she's being nice, she needs to say it. Yeah. It's not mean to say it because if, like, he deserves a chance to move on and find somebody else. Like Amber.
Yeah.
And he should have the chance to do that, but he will only start that journey once you tell him that there's nothing.
No chance, right. And this is one of those things easier said than done, because a lot of people can't handle that kind of confrontation with people.
It's true. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm just saying she needs to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Imogen drops in here and says, like, let's go. I'm not gonna sit around all night waiting for you. And Dane's, of course, like, what the heck? Why is she training you? And then Imogen says, squad loyalty and all that, blah, blah. Don't worry. I'll take good care of her. Bye, Atos. They go off to start working on weights.
Yep.
She notices that Garrick's over by that first year, which I can't say his name, but it's the one they saw in the woods. And it's TYRS. I'm not sure.
Tierce.
Sure. And so Imogen is going to basically start training her. They're talking a little bit about the fact that the most important muscles she has, obviously, is her weak ass inner thighs. Yep. That's what Imogen says. And then Violet says, you're only doing this because Zayden is making you, right? And Imogen's like, rule number 1, he's Ryerson to you first year, and you never get a question me about him ever. It's like, okay. And then Violet's answer is, that's 2 rules.
She's so sassy.
Such a sassy girl.
But I'm like...
But she's here thinking that they've got to be lovers with that kind of fierce loyalty. And then she's like, I'm not jealous. Nope. That pit of ugliness spreading inside my chest isn't jealousy. It can't be.
Yeah, I was like, keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
But also, it's so funny because when Imogen acted like that, I did not read that the same way Violet read that. I read it like she was upset that Violet feels like she can talk about him informally because she's afraid they're closer than they kind of put out as a public image, which would be fair considering their super sexy fight that they had in front of everyone. I mean, if I had a crush on a guy and I saw that, I'd also be like, oh boy. And hearing her say Zayden probably made her feel like that. And that you can't question me about him is more just like her hiding her insecurities about the way she feels. I don't know. That's how I took it. I did not take it how she took it at all.
I hear you. Well, that ends chapter 17. And we go on to chapter 18.
Yes.
Little blurb just says, there is nothing more sacred than the archives. Even temples can be rebuilt, but books cannot be rewritten. And that's by Colonel Daxton's Guide to Excelling in the oh my gosh, scribe quadrant, the scribe quadrant. Yeah, and the reason this is being put up here, obviously, is she's now on archives duty, right? So she's the one who has to bring the library card from their little library in the writers quadrant. She brings, like, returns books and then brings more books back. So here we get to meet Jasenia. She shows up in the archives, and the woman, I mean, she talks about how she loves the archives. It's like home to her, you know?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So she really does have fond memories. But then the woman there is someone she obviously really likes. It's mentioned, like, it's her first year in the scribe quadrant. And it's Jasenia, right?
Yep.
That's all it says. I don't think, yeah. And then they're signing. It's sign language. So she's obviously deaf. And so they're just doing sign language. And having a conversation and saying it's good to see you. And of course, you know, Jasenia is worried about her because everyone dies in the writer's quadrant. You don't die in the scribe quadrant. So, you know, it's a different kind of
You're
idea.
ashamed for emotions.
Yeah, you are. They're not allowed to have any emotions, which is amazing.
This gave me the most, this author has read Divergent. I mean, who hasn't read Divergent? But I was like, hold on a second. So the one where they can't show emotion and they're like all quiet and reserved. Mm-hmm. And then the one where they're all full of danger and wear black. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 minute.
You're starting to find some parallels.
Yeah. Anyways, I just thought that, like, once we learned that, because this is the first time we learned about this emotions thing, I was like, this is giving very, very Divergent vibes right now.
That's funny. I actually never thought about that, but that's a good point. Violet assures Jasenia that she's happy.
Yes, and I was like, this is so great, because while there is longing, in a way, for this life, she's also happy. You know, it's like, she feels this nostalgia, but she's not upset about it.
Right. Exactly. And despite, I mean, Jasenia's like, really, like, you're not worried about dying all the time? And she's like, yeah, sure. But you kind of get used to that, which is literally, of course, what's been happening this whole time, you know?
Yep.
She has some requests, and then Jasenia asks if there's anything else. And she asks if there's any chance that they have a copy of the Fables of the Baron, which is the book that she didn't get to bring with her, right? Mira didn't let her bring with her. And then Jasenia says, I'm not familiar with that text.
Yeah, and then she kind of explains what it's about.
Oh, yeah, because she says she'll go look for it, right? She tries to explain, like, it's wyverns, venom, magic, battles of good and evil, all the good stuff. And she's like, yeah, I never heard of that. She'll go look for it.
Yeah, and then this whole paragraph here where it's like, she's thinking about the book, and she's like, now that I'm wielding magic, I could use a few good folktales about what happens when humans defile the power channeled to them. No doubt they were written as parable to warn us of the dangers of bonding dragons, but in Navarre's 600-year history of unification, which I guess is the bonding process or of being unified with dragons, whatever, they don't really explain what that is. I've never read of a single writer losing their soul to their powers. The dragons keep us from that. And this whole paragraph just held future context to me. It was just one of those paragraphs, kind of like the first time we ever learned about feather tails, and I was like, we're learning about this for a reason. This holds that for me. I don't know in what way, because it's kind of vague, but I'm like, someone's gonna lose their soul, or we're gonna learn that book. I mean, it's weird that this book is not being found. Something about that book is important. Why is it nowhere else? Anyways, it's just, there's whole, like, future setup going on here, but not enough information for me to really predict anything, except for that this is important.
All right.
Yeah.
She does feel a little sad here, and Andarna, like, kind of pops in and says, what, you are sad? And she's like, just visiting the archives, no need to worry. And then Andarna says it's hard to love a second home as much as the first. And Violet says it's easy when the second home is the right one, which is cute, you know?
I was like, that's the right attitude.
Yeah, it's cute. So Jasenia does come back, and she's like, I can't find that book. And, you know, Violet's sort of like, weird.
Yes.
I mean, why not? But she's like, okay, fine.
Yes,
whatever.
And this is kind of what I was talking about. Like, this whole thing is just very suspicious. And the one prediction I do have, actually, is that when she gets back to her stuff, whenever she's allowed to go back to her room that they packed up, or wherever all of her stuff went, that book is gonna be missing.
Okay. Thank you for your prediction.
Yeah.
Will be noted.
Okay.
All right. They finish a conversation. They're just talking about, like, sparring and getting, like, stronger and things like that. She makes it on time just to eat, like, start shoving some food in her mouth. they mention here there's newbies. So it mentions they got 2 first years and 2 second years that they took from another squad, right? But they are
Yes.
refusing to sit with anybody with a rebellion relic, which we have Imogen. It might just be Imogen. I'm actually honestly not sure. But she literally responds saying, "So fuck them."
I know. Which I'm like, go, Violet. Especially being who she is.
Right.
Like, good that she has this attitude.
Yeah. So now a story's being told, and basically you're finding out that Sawyer has manifested his signet. So he's the first one to manifest out of the first years, right?
Yep.
And basically the sword, like when Sawyer was doing, obviously they were doing weapon fighting here because, yeah, he had
Yeah.
a sword out, and it like curved and hit the mark, even though it was way off mark, you know?
Yep.
So we find out he's a metallurgist.
Yes. And okay, so now we found out, like, a lot of these powers seem to be controlling different things, right? We have air.
Like elements, you mean?
Yeah. Metal. The shadows. I don't know. I mean, shadows aren't really an element, but like, it's a lot of like, I control this, I control that.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to think of what hers could be, and I was like, is she going to control, like, usually fire power is something in these books that are like the most sought after, but it's like you have a dragon, like, with fire power. Like, I mean, it'd be cool to be able to shoot fire without the dragon being there, but is that really a super
Or it'd be
strong
cool to like
signet?
take the fire out of the dragon's mouth as they're shooting it and like warp it into little missile. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You just gave me thoughts.
You could like shoot the fire in more specific directions.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I still want to believe that one of her powers could be mending, because that'd be really helpful for her. But is that really considered a super strong signet? And I was like, okay, the other thing we've learned is like things have to do with people's minds. Like, that's another type of signet.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, maybe she could like steal people's memories. Like, would that be something? I don't know. I really
I mean,
could
that's
not.
what Dane can do, is stealing memories.
No, he just
Not
can...
stealing. Oh,
Yeah, but what if she could like
take them away
people's
so they're gone?
memories?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know. I just was like trying to think of anything. It was really hard to think of anything that I like. We have so few examples of signets, it feels like.
I know, and you're going to get more as we go,
Yeah.
because all her first years are going to get
Yeah.
some, and you're going to find out more about other people's. Yeah. So.
And I had a really hard time predicting. Anyways, at the end of this chapter, we do get one of them, and I was like, that I probably could have predicted that, because that is something super crazy and powerful, but I really never crossed my mind.
Okay. I have so much to say. And so much I can't say. Yeah. Okay. So this conversation's happening, right, at the breakfast table. And they find out he's a metallurgist, and it says, as far as I know, that he's the first of us to display any form of power, let alone a signet. So that's, she's obviously talking about the first years, because the second years have all done it, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so they all just come at their own time and pace.
Yeah, but she says any form of power, let alone a signet. So she means like even the minor powers. Like no one's actually done anything yet. So
yeah, which is interesting. Like, have they tried?
I don't know.
They don't talk about it.
I feel like we're just a couple days in, aren't we? Like maybe 3 days, because she mentions like earlier when she's going to the archives that there was a day that she was like really dizzy and stuff like that, remember? And she missed it. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's very far ahead. We hear about Carr here, who's the professor that handles signets. Sawyer obviously is like, he's like saying, I'm having a hard time basically eating because he's worried the fork is going to stab him. I'm like, okay, yeah, you got to get control of this. Obviously, this is something you got to get control of, you know?
Definitely.
Quinn says here, you'll manifest when your dragon is ready to trust you with all that power. Just hope your dragons trust you before about 6 months. And she makes it sound like an explosion and mimics it with her hands. And then Imogen's like, stop scaring the children.
Yeah, that was like, okay, that is interesting to know. That's intense.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like someone's gonna have this happen to them. I don't think someone in her squad or someone she knows, or at least I freaking hope not. But I think we're gonna see someone go through that, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Imogen says it hasn't happened for decades, and she explains that the relic that the dragons transferred onto you is the conduit to let all that magic in your body. Oh, which may explain a little bit the fact that she's got such a big relic, and other people have smaller ones. I wonder, just the conduit, like it's a bigger conduit into her body. Which might have to do with the amount of power. Who knows?
I think so.
Yeah. You find out the magic is going to consume them if it doesn't, but it's just like an average of 6 months. And anyways, Sawyer then is like, well, I feel a little luckier.
Yeah,
at least he got it. At least it did manifest for him. Violet says, we'll get you some wooden utensils, which is so nice of her.
It is. But I did predict here, I was like, oh, so his signet came in when he was in danger. I wonder if hers will too. Yes. Mm-hmm. At least one of them.
Yeah, exactly. She does mention here that she feels Xaden watching her and that she notices she's never alone. There's always someone with a rebellion relic around. So they're keeping an eye on her.
I know that this is fine based on nothing but my own feelings. But I would be paranoid. Like, I would be a little bit, not like paranoid, but I would be like, I don't know. I know that she knows that they have this group, but it would be like, I am constantly being watched by these rebellion kids. And, like, she's not, like, you know, these other people who refuse to sit with them, but it would make me a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Not that they're gonna kill her, because obviously they want to keep her alive, but it would be, like, intimidating, just being like, wow, I am just constantly being watched by these people who, as far as I'm aware, most of them want me dead.
Yeah.
This is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they finish this conversation, and then they go out to the rotunda, or through the rotunda into the courtyard. I'm not entirely sure what a rotunda is, but anyways, they get to the courtyard, and then Jack Barlow is saying, I knew it would work. And this is where you find out that the writer died the first lesson, and somehow Caroline Ashton, she got bonded. And I was wondering if, like, when they lose a writer, do they, like, have another presentation? Another thrashing? Like, how do they bond?
No, but
do you walk out there and say, like, hi, dude, can you bond with me?
I think that they've already been presented to these dragons. And I think that dragon loses their rider. If they want to bond again, one of these unbonded cadets just hear the voice in their head, just like how she just heard the voice in her head.
Could be. It could be that simple. I just was wondering, like, how often do they parade these unbondeds, or, like, do they show them to the dragons again?
I would just guess 0 times. Like, these dragons have already met every single one of these cadets. They know which ones are unbonded.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know. Just curiosity.
Yeah, so I guess they go flight training again, right? And Taryn says that she only fell about a dozen times that trip, which is less than the last time. Okay,
yeah,
you know.
You learn in the conversation with Dane that she was falling 3 dozen times before.
Yeah, so
that's a crazy amount for people who don't know how to do math. That is 36 times. Okay, she was falling 36 times,
and they're not flying all day. They're probably only. I mean, I don't know how long they're flying, but they're probably not. You know, it might be
an hour, 2 hours.
2 to 3 hours, and she's flying that many times. That's a lot.
Yep.
That is a lot. So, yeah, so her and Taryn are having a little conversation here, and she was, like, saying she wanted Andarna to join them, even just to fly along.
Because she misses her.
She does miss her. She says she never gets to see her. I like how it is really cute.
It is cute. I just like that she's, like, they're just bonded. And she, like, misses her. Like, she's met her, like, once. That's so cute.
I know. She has her in her head, but she doesn't really get her.
Yeah.
I like how, like, she's, like, checking all over for the dragons for, like, was anything stuck? And he's literally like, do you think... No, what does he say? I'm not foolish enough to not know that I have something stuck in my flesh.
Yeah, and she doesn't stop, though.
She doesn't stop, no.
But she does think to herself, like, you know, that a tiny piece of something could get in there and could then... whatever.
Yeah, it could still cause a problem.
Yeah.
And she needs to make sure.
And they are told to do this. Like, this must happen.
Right. Otherwise, why are they told to do it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. I like how she thinks to him, I'm always stuck with your grumpy ass. And then he replies, this grumpy ass just caught you a dozen times, silver one. And then she says, eventually you could call me Violet, you know? And he's like, I could call you Violence, like the wing leader. And you know, there's like a wink, wink at the end of that conversation.
Definitely. And then she's like, you wouldn't dare.
And narrows her eyes at him.
Says, you know how much that ass annoys me. And then he's like, annoys you? Is that what you call it when your heart rate? And she's like, don't even start.
I know. He doesn't even get to finish the sentence.
So funny. So funny.
Funny. So here, Dane shows up, and Taryn is like growling. And she's saying it's just Dane, but he's like, anger does not suit him.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
He says, tell him if he harms you, I'll scorch the ground where he stands.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, for fuck's sake, Taryn. He's like, tell him or I'll take it up with Kath, which is Dane's dragon.
I don't know what that means exactly, but I like just admonish Dane, like to like just be like, Kath, your guy sucks. Like, I don't know what this would really do, but I do think it's a funny threat because it's like, I'll tell your mom. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, you know the dragons are scared of him, so maybe he could just scare Kath enough. He could basically say, listen, your writer better get his shit together, or I will kill him, and that means you will die probably.
Yeah,
if they're that close. Yeah.
I mean,
I guess it's true. We don't know for sure, but anyway, so she says, instead of saying exactly, she says, Taryn says if you harm me, he'll burn you. And she's like, she like kind of looks back to see if he's gone because other dragons all left, but nope. He's still standing behind me like an overprotected dad.
Made me laugh so hard.
Did it?
Yeah, it's just so funny. Like an overprotective dad. I was like, oh my god.
Aw, Taryn. So we don't know yet why Dane's mad, but she basically says to him, like, okay, word for word, he says this, right? And he's like, I would rather die than harm you. Which I don't know if that's true, but okay.
It's like death is fine, but a mark against your image isn't.
Right.
Right?
Right?
It's like Hermione Granger logic here.
Oh, true. True. Okay, fine. That does change things if I think about him as like a male Hermione Granger. Yeah. In the first book only, though, because she changes after that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Taryn leaves. Right? Yeah, he launches off. He says he's going to go partake in a flock of sheep.
Yep.
And then Dane is mad, and here we go. This is it. He says, why didn't you tell me you can't keep your fucking seat?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we don't know why.
Also, like, even if she hadn't said anything, how do you think this is helping? Like, this conversation, how do you think this is helping?
We're going to have to stop trying to figure out how Dane is logical. Because it does take up way too much of our podcast time. It really does. It's like, it doesn't work.
He's just not.
No. I mean, he's like saying that he's letting Carrie teach her. Yeah. Like he... What
the fuck?
Like, what is he going to not, like, be like, sorry, you can't teach her, I'm going to teach her? I don't know what he's talking about here. Thinking everything's under control. And then he's like, he was like, surely I would know if my best friend fell every fucking day she flew. Okay, so maybe we are days away. Maybe.
Yeah.
Possibly that's the only thing that's happening here. He thought it might have been handled by now. It
doesn't seem like she's keeping it from him. Like, she says...
Well, she says it. Right.
Well, I wasn't keeping this from you. And I'm like, no, she literally wasn't. She told you day one.
Yeah. She literally is like, I'm sorry if you haven't been keeping tabs on your squad. I mean, hello, good point. Should he be checking it all?
Your best friend, like, now, like, you pull up this card when, oh god, he's just...
So much. Yeah. So then he's all hurt now and like, well, you didn't tell me. Yeah, puppy dog eyes. And... she's like, it's not a problem. She's saying that more than half of the wing is falling, or half the wing is also falling, but he says not a dozen times. So I guess maybe they fall every once in a while. And the dragons are catching them
at this point.
Because I think in the beginning, very beginning, they're like, well, this is just dumb because they don't have a strong enough bond and they just like give up. But now their bonds are stronger and they want to stick to it. But they're also trying new maneuvers.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Teaching them like, okay, good. So the next time I do that, maybe hold on better or something. You know? Yeah. She says last month was last chapter. So it's been a whole month since that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, still not really valid because fuck him. But
yeah, but at least that makes more sense now. So we take back whatever we said kind of earlier. Yeah. It has been a month. He doesn't know that she's still not keeping her seat. So maybe he wasn't surprised about her falling the first day, you know?
Yes.
But she says it was 36 times back then. So
yep.
He's like, wants to know what exactly she's having trouble with. She's like, you want a list of my flaws? My thighs are too weak. I'm building muscles. My hand can't grip the pommel, but they're getting stronger, you know, so on. So
yeah,
she's getting frustrated with his bullshit at this point.
He starts getting into this whole thing like Imogen doesn't have your best interests in heart, and neither does Xaden. They're just thinking about themselves and blah blah blah. He's being stupid again.
Oh, I know. And then he brings up that, like, Amber lit into him for an hour about how you acted dishonorably. And she's like, oh, and you just took her word for it without asking me what happened?
Yeah, Dane, what happened to wanting open and honest communication? This is what you're asking her for, but you don't seem to give her the same respect. He is full of double standards. Like, left, 100%. Right, center, all of him is double standards.
No, and because he even says she's a wing leader. And then she's like, so is Xaden.
And he thought it was fine.
Right.
I mean, know. She herself right here is like, it's done. We're done.
And, you know, I've always kind of justified for him a little bit in the beginning because he's like, you know, his friends, he's terrified. And he's saying, I'm terrified, you're not going to make it. But at this point, it is too much. Like, It made sense to me in the beginning. Not everybody agrees with me on that. It made sense to me in the beginning. No, it doesn't. At this point, he's done.
Seemed to also want the same thing that he wanted. Even though she was being like, there's just no way it can work. There's no way that my mom's going to let it happen. But she still, like, otherwise would have wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Then it was fine. But then once she was like, no, like, for real, like, this is where I want to be.
He should have been supporting her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he does not have the ability.
Well, she even says here, she like repeats his words. This place cuts away the bullshit, the niceties, revealing whoever you are at your core. And then she's like, is this who you really are at your core?
Mm-hmm.
Someone so enamored with rules that he doesn't know when to bend or break them for someone he cares about?
Mm-hmm.
Someone so focused on the least I'm capable of doing, he can't believe I can do so much more.
I know.
It's sad.
It is sad that he's like this.
But you wanted her to stand up to him, and this is her doing that. She says, let's get one thing straight, Dane. The reason we'll never be anything more than friends isn't because of your rules. It's because you have no faith in me. Even now, when I've survived against all odds and bonded not just one dragon, but two, you still think I won't make it. Mm-hmm. So she says, so forgive me, but you're about to be some of the bullshit that this place cuts away from me.
Yeah. And I was like, say it louder. Just shout it. Thank you.
Yes.
Because it was about time that you told him that. Because what's kind of crazy is, like, in his defense, if she had said something like this earlier, before I'd gotten to this point, at least we would have known if he could have changed. If she was like, what I need from you is to be supportive and believe in me, and if you can't do that, then we can't be friends, then maybe we could have seen, like, can he do that? Can he be that for her? And if he couldn't, then fine. But I'm like, this is why, like, if she just said things earlier, maybe they could have worked out. But nope, too late now.
Yeah. And I know, I wasn't paying attention like you were to like shadows and sunlight, but they were in a tunnel, right? She walks out. It says sunlight overpowers me. And she sees Xaden. Xaden arches a dark eyebrow as I pass by, and she flips him the middle finger.
Yep.
So it's like the first time I noticed that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I noticed that too. But I was like, also, when is he like not listening to her at this point? Like every chance he gets, I'm not even surprised.
Right.
He's like obsessed.
Something's going on. So, okay, so this is where we get the scene where this cadet comes running out saying, make it stop. And he starts like, kind of like repeating what everyone's saying around him. You know what I mean? Or thinking. Sorry. That's the point.
Yes.
Thinking. This guy's name is Jeremiah. And he is like literally freaking out. And he literally says, like his focus is on Dane. And he says, is Violet going to hate me forever? Why can't she see that I just want to keep her alive? Which actually is kind of interesting. Sorry, I just wanted to point out that he does really think this because it's right here in his mind.
It's
too.
true. Doesn't mean
so
it's
that
right.
does show something.
Yeah.
I mean, just at least it shows he doesn't have some kind of ulterior motive.
Yes, that's true.
But
I was like, this is happening. It's happening. This thing.
He's thinking right now. Oh, you mean the
mind reader. I mean,
yeah.
did I think it was maybe secretly Xaden this whole time? Yes. Am I now disabused from that idea? Pretty much. Although, like in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe not mind reading like this, but maybe some other power. I'm still convinced he maybe has another power that they've learned to channel and whatever. But that's fine. But I was like, it's finally happening. This tiny seed that was planted from one line in like chapter 1 about how these guys are like not allowed to be.
And you get to see what happens here because like he's like literally freaking out. He starts saying things like, also Xaden like comes up to her and says, start mentally reciting whatever book of shit you've learned. And he's like, if you value your secrets, clear your thoughts now. So she starts like, like...
It's so interesting that he does... I mean, is he just worried that she's gonna be like, oh no, a mind reader, they better not know about Xaden's secret club? Because otherwise, why else is he coming to help her with this? Because otherwise, why would he care about her secrets being revealed?
Well, when you start hearing everyone's secrets being revealed, you probably start thinking of yours.
Yeah.
Which is actually what happens right here. He turns to Garrick and says,
I know.
Damn it all to hell, he'll know about... And then Xaden shoves the shadows in his mouth. Yeah, so this professor comes through. They say that he's an intrinsic. And then he snaps his neck. And that's the end of that. Jeremiah is gone.
Yeah, and I do still wonder, like, is it a death sentence because... this guy was going crazy and it's like no one can learn to control that power without going crazy, or is it a death sentence because it's like illegal because of all of the terrible dark secrets that the government's keeping?
Okay.
I don't know. We'll never know. He died.
Okay is my answer to that. Yeah, Riddick is like, maybe I don't want a signet power after all. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like everyone's getting intrinsic, but yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's like left and right common.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, and Sawyer's like, and that was Professor Carr, the one who just so casually walks up and breaks his neck, you know?
Yeah, because earlier he was saying like, oh, like I can't wait till other people come and join in my classes because he's a whole character that I don't like dealing with by myself.
Exactly, yeah. So you got him. Okay, so here is the crazy
Huh?
scene at the end of the chapter. So basically, she's having this dream, right?
Uh-huh.
Her dad is talking to her about always checking your sources.
Yep.
Remember that firsthand accounts are always more accurate. Look who's telling the story and all that stuff. And she even asks, what if I want to be a writer? And he's like, you're not like them. But while this is happening, there's like a voice that says, wake, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, it doesn't quite belong here. But there's the dream's still going. And he's like saying, your mother has never understood that while writers may be the weapons of our kingdom, it is the scribes who have all the real power in this world. Right? And then she gets another wake before you die now. And so basically that's Taryn yelling in her mind and waking her up.
This was so scary.
And she's being attacked
Yeah.
by
Also,
the unbonded.
7. I'm sorry,
7.
but 7 people came to kill one sleeping girl. Cowards. Cowards.
Seriously.
7 people came to kill someone in their sleep?
I wonder if they don't know if she's had a signet yet. They don't know what her powers are. Maybe she could have some of the powers, maybe.
Whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, interesting.
Whatever. I'm just saying, I was like, wow, 7 against one sleeping tiny girl.
Right.
Says a lot about you guys.
Right. She jumps out of bed. She's got her knives that were close by. And she does say, so she says, like you said, 7 cadets, 4 are unbonded men. She says 3 are unbonded women. I gasp with recognition. She doesn't say who. Make that 2 as she
I know. Who is she?
runs for the door and slams it on the way out. And it leaves you just totally wondering, right?
I know. I'm trying to think of what named people have we heard of? I'm like, is it Tara? I don't know. That's like my only thought. I'm like, what's a named woman?
And then she says afterwards, she opened the door. There's no other explanation. So whoever this person is was able to open doors.
Oh, then maybe a second or third year.
Right. Just because who else can open doors? Yeah, so that's the only clue we get, right?
No.
Yeah.
I really, I didn't
You
even
do realize that we end this chapter barely, in the middle of this. So yeah.
Yeah. So. We're going to know soon, I'm sure, but I was like, come on, Violet, just say who it is.
No. She can't do that. Give it away. Okay, good. So yeah, they're determined to kill her. She's got her armor on because she's sleeping with her armor, which thank goodness, right? Yep. Because she does get I think that she a few times they get hit with the knife and her armor saves her,
Yeah.
So basically there's a little fight here, I'm not going to read everything. She does have a little snark in the middle of here where she's like, for someone who can't help, Tarn has no problem dishing out opinions.
I know, and I was like, that's unnecessary sass for someone who just saved you. My fucking God.
They're both sassy all the time. This is just how they do it.
But he's not even saying something sassy. He's making a great point. No more throwing things. Keep a hold of that weapon.
Yeah.
Very helpful advice. Her. Oh my God. Giving me advice. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
You're about to die, lady.
He just saved you. Maybe you need the advice.
She does get rushed all at the same time, which is actually very smart of them, because whenever there's 12 opponents against one and they just each individually fight them. But yes, everybody rushing her at once was very smart of them, for sure. Oren grips her throat. He's trying to crush her, basically, choke her to death. And oh my God. Yeah, this is the violence.
Yep.
And Taryn is saying he's almost there.
I know.
And she's like, he who?
I know. I was like, okay, obviously Xaden.
Obviously.
But also, I was like, oh my God, Xaden should definitely just insist that he has to sleep in her room from now on. I mean, it's the only logical explanation for how he's going to keep her safe all the time. I don't know. Someone should tell him that.
Okay. Yeah. It is obviously going to be Xaden because Taryn can communicate to his mate who can communicate to Xaden. How else is it going to work? Anyways, yeah, so she's being choked. It's getting pretty intense. And then the bedroom door flies open, the wood splintering as it slams against the stone wall. But I don't have a chance to turn to see who is standing there before a shriek pierces my vision. Oh, they don't tell you who it is. Whatever.
No, but obviously they just said he's almost there.
Yeah. And then Andarna screams. Skin prickling energy zings down my spine, then rushes to my fingertips and toes. And the next breath I take is in total, complete silence. Go, Andarna demands. I blink and realize the first year in front of me doesn't. She isn't breathing, isn't moving. No one is. Everyone in this room is frozen in place except me. And it ends right there.
I'm currently trying not to read the next page.
I know. Just so everybody knows, she's closing the book.
I know. But I was like, okay, so time power. This is so insane and so overpowering. There has to be time limits that this is just such a crazy power that could just defeat everyone so easily if there's not certain things that hold it in place. So I'm very interested to see like what things are going to make it so it's not just like, oh, I am just forever fine always.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
because
this ends like so, like there's so much that you just don't know
it
in
gives
this
the
one
teeniest
little.
information.
I know.
I mean, even saying that she froze time is like, I'm guessing. I mean, that's pretty clear that that's what happens, but they don't even say that.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't even say the word time, right? They just
Nope.
say everyone's frozen. Yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, I can't wait to you. I'm sure you're going to go home right after this and read this next chapter because you have to read to the end of this scene at least.
It's just so crazy. And I'm just like wondering like, okay, how long can she do it for? How much does it drain in Darna? How often can she use it? It's like if she uses it today, could she not use it for 24 hours, 48 hours, a week, a month? Like there's going to have to be serious stipulations with this power because otherwise she would just be fine for the rest of the book and the next book, and that just sounds boring. So
you know that there's going to be something.
Yes, but I just don't know what, and I want to see like how is the author going to, it's just when you put time powers into a book, it's like how are you going to write yourself out of this? Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like because you put something so powerful in it.
Sort of like the time turners. In
Yeah,
Harry
when
Potter,
she just has them all destroyed because it's just like otherwise it's like, oh, how do we defeat Voldemort? Well, I just go back in time. Like it's just an answer to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put stops on it. So I'm just like,
yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. So we ended there at that really intense moment.
Yep.
And we will let Brianna go home and read the next 2 chapters.
Yeah.
So she can answer some of those questions will be answered. Okay, cool.
Everyone should follow us on Instagram and Threads. We're at First Wing Pod.
Keep in mind that even though Brianna just said that, she actually does not get to look at those. So you are welcome to say anything spoiler related on those because I, Kendra, am the one who monitors it. That way, if you want to say things like, oh, that prediction she said, blah, 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 you know what I mean? You can totally do that.
Yep, I do stay away from all of the social media and anything involving First Wing, so that includes that.
Fourth Wing, for that matter.
Right. My bad.
That's what she means.
Also, you can rate and review our podcast, which you should do, because then your friends can find us, and then you guys can all talk, about Fourth Wing together and First Wing together.
There you go. Yeah, if you can review, if you're on Apple Podcasts and you because you can write a review on Apple Podcasts, we will read it, and we can maybe even read it on the podcast.
Yeah, and you can maybe even type out like a specific question you want to ask me that's a spoiler-friendly question.
Yeah,
and
please.
I can answer it on the podcast.
Spoiler friendly only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, next episode, we are going to be covering chapters 19 and 20.
Yes. So join us next time, writers.
Bye.
Bye.